deal makers, and it's always a great day to make deals. And I don't have any guests tonight on the Dealmaker channel, but I will be answering some commonly asked questions, frequently asked questions uh, when it comes to real estate and global stock market investing. So feel free to put in your questions in the chat. I am actually testing out a new streaming software. I'm testing out Restream. I used to use, well, I was using StreamYard, but I wanted to test out Restream because it does not have limits. StreamYard has a 20-hour limit, and that can easily run out, when I do daily live streams. So what are some of the questions that we will be talking about tonight? So like one of the questions that I commonly get is, can you sell a house without a license? So we're going to answer that. We're going to also answer, do you need an agent, to sell a house? So if you're trying to sell your house during this time, do you need an agent to do that for you? Okay, that, because that is usually also being asked. And then we're going to answer the question, can you sell a house even if there's still a bank loan? How do you go about doing that? Or can you sell a house that you are still paying to a developer? Right, so we're going to do that as well. Right, so if you are watching live and you have any questions, let me know in the comments or in the chat. So this is my first time to use Restream. So like if you're watching on Facebook, I think Facebook has a chat function, right? So feel free to put in any questions on real estate or even US or global stock market investing. If I can answer it, definitely I will answer it in this session. But if not, I will let you know. Okay. So by the way, we have a few viewers already. Can you let me know? Can you at least let me know in the chat, who you are? Because I can't see. Unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, Restream does not show who is on the stream. Yeah, so that's the only disadvantage with Zoom. If I use Zoom and I give you the Zoom link, I can see you guys. But with Restream, with all the streaming software, no, I cannot. So let me uh, let me open the first question that I will answer. So let's see if I can do this properly. First question is, can you sell a house without a license? Can you sell a house without an agent's license? So for example, you want to sell your house, or that's the related thing also. Uh, some people also ask, do you need an agent, to sell your house? So either you want to sell your house, but you don't have a license, or do you need an agent to sell your house? I hope that is clear because I get to that. Sometimes I have sellers asking me, do I need an agent to sell my house? Can I sell it on my own? Definitely, yes, you can do that. Now, but what's the process? Or like, can I sell my house even if it still has a bank loan? So those are the things that we will answer in this portion. So there are four situations that you can sell a house without a real estate broker's license or without being licensed as a real estate salesperson. Okay. First is when you own your house free and clear. So if you are the owner, there are no limits. So you can definitely sell your house. You don't need a license to sell your own house. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Number two, you can sell a house that you own with a mortgage. Okay, uh, and you can do this even if you don't have a license, okay? Or even if you're still paying the bank, you can sell this. That's not a problem. You can also sell a house that you haven't fully paid yet, but you bought it from a developer, whether that's a house or a condo. You bought it from a developer. You're not fully paid yet. You can sell that. Okay, that is what's commonly known as pasalo. Yan yung tinatawag na pasalo here in the Philippines. You assume the installment payment. Okay. So when you have a bank loan, that's not normally that's not the normal pasalo situation. Okay, because normally you cannot assume a bank mortgage. You can correct me if I'm wrong. If there are any bankers here, you can correct me if I am wrong. But normally you cannot assume another person's mortgage without transferring the mortgage to you. Okay, so you will need to transfer the mortgage to your name. Okay. I hope I'm not confusing you. But if it's not clear, just let me know. Okay? Oh, if you are just joining here, please make sure to smash the like button, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Uh, that helps Facebook and YouTube, distribute this video to more people. Okay. And then finally, you can sell a house that you don't own, even if you don't own it, but you have the authorization, or you have the special power of attorney to sell it. But there is a big but here. No, you cannot ask for commission. No commission. Of course, it's going to be dependent. All right, it will depend on. It's going to be an internal arrangement, okay, between the owner, the real owner of the house, and you. So, for example, your brother or your sister, asks you to sell their house, then you can do that. You can sell it for them, especially if they're abroad, right? A lot of Filipinos have relatives abroad, and that's what's normally done. The relative abroad issues a special power of attorney, and whoever is in here, he or she is the one that does the legwork. Then it becomes an internal arrangement of how much you get from the sale. Now, unfortunately, you cannot demand a commission. So it's really, there is no right for you to get a commission because you are not a licensed real estate person. Okay, that is mandated by RA 9646, also known as the Real Estate Service Act. So this is the Philippine law that mandates that mandates the profession of real estate in the Philippines. It governs the profession. So be very careful. Okay. Now you cannot sell another person's property unless you have a license or unless you have the contract to buy that person's property. It's different. But if you want to sell another person's property, for example, your friend, your kapitbahay, you heard that your neighbor is selling their property and you want to try out this real estate thing, but you're not licensed. So you cannot pose as an agent because then you will be labeled as a colorum agent. What you need to do is to tell your neighbor, uh, sell your property to me at a lower price, of course, at a price that you agree upon. Just tell them presyong kaibigan na lang. But also tell them that you will sell the property to another buyer. If they agree, then good for you. You can already start your real estate career. Right? Of course, if they don't agree, then they'll have to sell it themselves or they will have to find a licensed agent, a licensed broker to do it for them. Right? So I hope that is clear. Remember that you cannot sell a house you don't own for a commission without a license. Okay? So you cannot just you cannot tell another person to give you the authority to sell their house and then demand a commission. Okay? You will have to you'll have to create your commission or your profit. You'll have to create your profit by entering into a contract to buy their property at an agreed price, not a lower price, and then you turn around and sell your contract at a higher price. Okay, so that is selling a house. So definitely, again, uh, you can sell a house that you own. Okay, you own free and clear. You own it, but you're still paying the bank, or no, you bought it from a developer. You still haven't fully paid it, but you can definitely sell it. So how do you do that? How do you uh, what's the process for doing that? Okay, let me bring up my other slide. If you have any questions, please let me know. Also, please tell me where you're from so that I can greet you on the live stream. How do you sell a house? Okay, here. How do you sell a house that you are still, where you have a loan and you are still paying for it? Right. So how do you sell a house that you are still paying for? So whether that is, you're paying a bank, but you still have a bank loan, or you bought it from a developer, still under contract, you're paying it, then how do you do that? Okay, let's cover the first situation. So you own a house with a bank loan. You own a house with a bank loan. So step one is, of course, have an agreement with the buyer regarding the payment terms. Okay. Ideally, you ask for a down payment because you will be paying some of the expenses already. Right? You'll be paying the capital gains tax already, or any other taxes that you may need to pay for. So ask for a big enough down payment that will at least cover whatever expenses that you have assumed or that you are agreeing to pay. Okay. Next, step two, sign a contract to sell. Okay, it's going to take some. This process usually takes a bit of time, especially if the buyer is going to pay with bank financing. So you sign a contract to sell. If they are paying in cash, then it's going to be a little bit easier. You can already go jump to signing a deed of absolute sale. But if they're also paying with a bank financing, it's better to sign a contract to sell because it's going to take some time. Step three, so if buyer pays in cash, so divide the buyer's payment to pay the bank, whatever is the loan. So for example, you're selling your house for 5 million, you still have a balance with the bank of 2 million, then the buyer pays you 5 million, then make sure that you divide the payment, 2 million goes to the bank, 3 million goes to you, less any expenses that you are supposed to pay. Okay? So if you're going to pay the capital gains tax, deduct that already so that make sure that the at least the buyer is assured that the capital gains tax will be paid for already. Step 4A, well, sign the deed of absolute sale. Well, this is it should be the same step. When you pay, right? When the buyer pays you in cash, kaliwaan, right? You sign the deed of absolute sale as well, and then what happens is you will cancel the bank loan and transfer the title. This can usually be done in the same step, right? So when you submit the documents already to the register of deeds, you also have to submit cancellation of bank loan. Of course, that cancellation of bank loan will be issued by the bank once they receive the full payment. Okay, any questions so far? I hope this is clear to you guys. Let me know if it's not clear in the comments. I think I should open. I don't know if Restream actually shows. Okay, so there's Estelle. Hi, Estelle. I think I should have. Okay, so I can't actually see. Yeah, I can't see the Facebook comments in Restream. Interesting. Okay, I don't know if I can see. It says here that social comments should be displayed here. All right, there. That's not it. Okay, I should be seeing comments, but like I said, I'm using a new. What's this? A new. a new software called Restream. Okay. I hope that's clear. If that is not clear, let me know, in the comment section if you need additional explanation. Okay, that's how you sell a house that you own, but it has a mortgage. Okay. So again, please make sure to smash the like button, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Okay, what if the buyer pays with financing, right? So they will pay you a down payment, but they will get bank financing themselves. So you have bank financing, they have bank financing. How do you do that? Well, they will pay you, all right? You need to get into an agreement, right? Same thing. Uh, the buyer will pay the down payment in cash, and they will get a letter of guarantee from their bank. Okay, so their bank will issue a letter of guarantee addressed to you and your bank. Okay, so that depends on how much. So, for example, our example earlier, 5 million. You're selling your house for 5 million, and you owe 2 million to your bank, but the buyer, all right, is going to pay a down payment, say, of 2 million, and they will get a loan of 3 million. Yeah. Or the easier one, yung easy example muna. They're paying you 3 million, and then they'll get a 2 million loan as well. So para pareho lang. So the buyer's bank will issue a letter of guarantee to your bank, telling your bank that uh, the buyer's bank will pay your bank. So it's going to be an agreement. Then you'll have to wait. You'll have to wait for your bank to accept that, to approve that. And if the bank approves, you will then sign a deed of absolute sale with assumption of mortgage. Okay, so it's not a deed of absolute sale, it's going to be a deed of sale with assumption of mortgage. So that details all of the nitty-gritty of your loan, and their loan as well. And then it proceeds as normal. What will happen is you will cancel your mortgage and transfer the title. Okay, once the title is transferred, you will submit your title to the seller's side. The seller, you will submit the title to the buyer's bank. You don't give it to the buyer, give it to their bank, so that they don't get a title that's been clear. Okay, you have to give it to their bank so that their bank will pay your bank and that your mortgage will be canceled. All right. Buyer's bank pays your bank, and any remainder goes to you. So, for example, other example earlier, right? They will get a loan of 3 million, so their bank will pay your bank 2 million, and then they will issue a check of 1 million to you. Okay. So easy, simple. There's just one problem. Okay. There's just one problem with this, because there are banks that find ways that don't that they don't approve this kind of deal. So, for example, your bank, your property is mortgaged to a bank, right? A bank that finds ways. They will not approve the buyer's letter of guarantee. They will not accept it. Yes, they will not accept the terms. So what happens is you will have to pay your bank that finds ways, and you have to completely pay them, in cash, so that they will release the title to you, and so that you can move forward with the title transfer. So what happens is you will probably need to get seller financing or bridge financing. You will need to get bridge financing from a hard money lender, a different lender that gives a loan in cash, doesn't take anything in collateral. They give a hard cash loan, and you use that cash to pay your bank so that you can transfer the title and give to the buyer's bank, your title. Okay, if that is confusing, let me know. And that's why, sometimes, if the transaction is complicated, it's better to get an agent or a licensed broker to help you out. So they will be the ones who will uh, take care of the headache. Okay. So with that, if there are no questions there, so definitely, remember you can sell a house with a loan as long as the bank is paid. So it doesn't matter if you will pay your bank or if the seller's bank will pay your bank. Okay. So even if you're still paying a bank loan, you can definitely sell your house. All right. Make sure to smash the like button, whether you're on Facebook or you're in YouTube. Now, how about if you bought it from a developer, right? Like it's pre-selling or it's already RFO, but you availed of seller financing. It's either called seller financing or rent to own or deferred payment. Now, there are different names for this, but in essence, you did not get a bank loan. You're not paying the bank. You are paying the developer. Okay? So it's slightly different. Okay? The process is different, and it's actually easier. Okay, so first, of course, step one, have an agreement with the buyer regarding the payment terms. How much will they pay you for them to assume your contract with the developer? And then step two, you sign a deed of assignment. You pay any expenses mandated by the developer. Some developers charge not only 5,000 pesos or 10,000 pesos. Some developers can charge as high as 100,000 or 150,000 pesos. So there's no standard for this. If your plan was to buy a pre-selling property, whether that's a condo or a house, and then flip that to another person, to a buyer before it is turned over to you, you will follow the same process. Okay? So you have to ask your developer how much is the fee to transfer your contract from you to another person. So there's a payment for that. That's usually called the assignment fee or the transfer fee or the change of name fee. But sometimes they don't call it that because when you ask them to change the name in the contract, it's the same process. Okay, it's going to be a deed of assignment, right? So any agreement where you're not paying a bank, you're still paying the seller. That's an installment agreement. That's seller financing. You transfer your rights through a deed of assignment. This is also the same. This is also the same uh, with same process with what I mentioned earlier. Diba? I told you earlier that you can sell your neighbor's house even if you don't have a license by going into a contract with them. So what you do is you tell your neighbor, I'm going to buy your house, give me 1 year, or give me 1 year to fully pay you, or give me 1 year to buy a buyer who will pay, who will assume that my contract and pay you. But let me give you a down payment. Okay, you need to give a down payment so that contract to sell will be binding. Okay? So give them a down payment. It could be, syempre, if you're friends, if you're neighbors, then it could be a small down payment. It's going to be up to you. You negotiate with that. Okay? And then, so now that you have a contract between the two of you, right? You know, he is now going to sell the property to you. Just make sure that your contract has a clause that says you can assign the contract to another person. Okay? And then you turn around and now you sell the property. Okay? You sell the property to other people and you tell them that you have a contract to buy. You will be transferring that contract to them because he's your neighbor, right? You already went into agreement with him, but you change your mind and now you want to disperse the property. Okay? You don't want to cancel your contract, you don't want to lose your money. So that's why you're selling the contract to other people. So it's the same. What you're going to do to transfer that contract to your buyer and get paid is to sign a deed of assignment. You will assign your contract to your new buyer. Your new buyer will pay you, and your new buyer will pay your neighbor. Okay. So I hope that is clear. So those are the questions that I have prepared for tonight. Remember, you can sell a house under installment by simply transferring your contract. Uh, but one thing that I forgot to include here is remember that there are still expenses to be paid. Okay? Some people, they have this idea that if they do it this way, right, they just assign, they don't wait for the contract to be, they don't wait for turnover. Okay, they don't wait for the turnover, or they don't wait for full payment, and then they just sell the property right away. Some people have the mistaken assumption that they don't need to pay any taxes. Okay, they try to dispose of the property to avoid paying taxes, but actually, according to the revenue code, the internal revenue code of the Philippines, I think I hope I got that correct. Once a property is paid at least, once you have paid at least 25% of the agreed upon price, the developer or the seller is mandated to pay a capital gains tax already. So if you've already paid at least 25% of your total contract price, you will already pay a capital gains tax, or the the seller will already pay a capital gains tax. And usually, they will pass it on to you. So it needs to be clear. Right? It needs to be clear in your contract who is paying for what. Okay, but normally, once you transfer a contract, then there will already be a you will need to pay a capital gains tax. It depends. Okay, it depends uh, with the developer. Some developers, they don't follow that. I don't know how they get away with it, but some of them don't follow that. Then you're lucky. Okay. Now, like, I'm not guaranteeing to you guys. That's why I'm telling you. You have to check with your developer what are the fees that you need to pay if you're going to transfer your contract. Okay, so that it's clear. You don't get surprised. You don't get any further deductions, from your selling, from the proceeds of your sale. Okay, so I hope that makes it clear for you guys. Those different situations. If this makes it more easier for you to understand the selling process, how you can sell a property even if you don't have a license. What are the situations where you can sell a property, even another person's property, right? Even if you don't have a license. Then, if it's clear to you, please make sure, again, to smash the like button on Facebook or in YouTube, wherever you are watching this. Okay. Now, if there are no more questions, let me just check Facebook. Okay. So, no more questions. No more questions on Facebook. Uh, no more questions in YouTube. With that, I hope that you learned something today. Now, if there's any question that arises, oh, sorry, one question: how much do you need, to get started in real estate or in the global stock market? Let's start with the global stock market. So, with the global stock market, it depends on your, brokerage account. You will still need to open a global brokerage, account, and it depends on your platform, how much you pay or how much is the initial investment. So, like with interactive brokers, right? I know there's no limit, but if you yeah, you can open for any amount, but of course, it doesn't make sense to open with a small amount because you have to pay a wire transfer fee. With like eToro, the minimum to open is $200. A few weeks ago, they raised it to $1,000. I'm not sure if they already brought it back to 200. I think they brought it back to 200 again already, but you just need to check. Or I will check in the eToro platform later. So depends on the platform. Different platforms have different minimum amounts. Okay. How about for real estate? How much do you need? Well, it depends on the property and on the terms. Because if the terms, right, if you're buying from a seller that requires you a 20% down payment, and you're buying a property worth 1 million, then you have to start with 200,000. You have to pay them 200,000 plus cost of repairs, plus cost of any transfer fees that you may incur, okay? Cost of the financing as well. So it depends. If you're going to buy a property worth 5 million at 10% down payment, then you'll need to put out 500,000, 500,000 for the down payment plus any other fees that may arise during the title transfer. So again, it depends on the situation, depends on the property that you are buying. If you have small capital only, then buy properties that will fit your capital. Now, can you buy properties with no money down? Well, definitely, right? There are situations where you can buy properties with no money down, and I show that in my book, No Money Down Formula. Um, you can check out nomoneydownformula.com for the digital copy of my book. It's only $4.95. It will help you to buy properties even if you don't have a lot of capital, because you can have options to buy properties with no money down. Of course, it's always a better idea to have cash set aside. It's always better, you have better negotiating power when you can put in some of your own money. But it's not impossible to buy properties with no money down, as I show in my book, nomoneydownformula.com. So there's no printed version yet available, but you can always buy the digital copy, right? So since there are no questions, then again, let me check Facebook. Since there are no questions, let's end. Let me close this session today already by saying that it's always a great day to make deals, and then go out there, make deals, and I hope all of your deals will push through. See you on our next stream. Bye bye.